That's a little off this track. I do it this way because it's just a lot of lettuce, and hand washing lettuce, even just such a small amount, for 2 people is a lot of lettuce to be cleaning by hand in the sink. So this just seems to be a pretty easy way for me to do it. It's not quite dry. Give it a little more time. Fairly dry lettuce. So, listen, I know it's really easy to make a salad. Everybody knows how to make a salad. It might seem like a silly video, but my question for people is, what are you putting in your salad? Chicken snack. Because a lot of people think of salad as just greens and dressing and croutons and other things that aren't necessarily fantastic for fertility. Not that they're bad for you necessarily, but a lot of these processed salads or bagged salads or non-homemade dressings contain a lot of seed oils that have a lot of xenoestrogens in them. And xenoestrogens are sort of a form of estrogen that gets into our bodies from our environment. A big source of that is what's sprayed on crops. So if you don't grow your own vegetables, or you grow your own vegetables but you use heavy fertilizers or inorganic sprays, or even sometimes organic sprays, you have to really look into your spray and see what's in there. They can be pretty hard on the system when you're trying to have a baby. So this is by no means going to get you pregnant, and this is not a channel fully about fertility, but it is something that we have been dealing with in the last year or so, just after a very long 2020 region of being sick and yeah, everything that just came with that. So our vitamin D levels were low. Well, Jesse's were fine, but mine have become very low in the last 2 years. My B vitamins have become extremely low, and that is all things that are giving me low progesterone. So it's not a hopeless case, but my progesterone is low. So what I'm doing is eating things that are high in good fats, healthy oils, cutting out seed oils, cutting out sugars, processed foods, which we already steered away from. But it was a lot easier before to say, oh, I'm just going to have a little bit of whatever is tasty and not worry so much. And now I'm not trying to worry by any means, but I'm watching it a lot more now that it has been a while of having low progesterone and we are ready for littles. So I have my first onion of the season. So cute, so little. It actually accidentally got pulled. Unfortunately, I was weeding, and if you know me, you know that I am not a delicate weeder, and that is something I'm working on. But I get impatient and I get so stressed out sometimes when the weeds are so intertwined that I end up just yanking them. And so we'll harvest this. I'm going to use the tops and the bottom. Onions are great for vitamins. But also they just taste really good. So I'm gonna prep this together and kind of give you a final result. And yeah, thanks for making a salad with me.
Sit. 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 Come here. I don't know.
Okay, here's a fertility-friendly salad that I like to make for lunch for my husband and I. So we have our bonzo beans with chimichurri sauce and nutritional yeast. Nutritional yeast is fantastic. It has so many B vitamins in it. We use the Bob's Red Mill nutritional yeast, which I'll show you here. So B vitamins, as you can see, it has iron, potassium, thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, and then B6, B12. So lots of good stuff, vitamin D, all things that I am personally deficient in, which is part of our fertility journey. So I get all our greens from our garden. I spin them in my little spinner here. And I'm gonna prep this stuff all together and meet up with you in a second. Okay, so I've got my base food here. I'm gonna put some crackers with this. We are trying to source all organic dairy. It's not happening at the moment, but I'm gonna break and have some just cheese, salami, get a little protein in us. A big part of this is switching out certain foods and not being too hard on myself. Like I said, I can't find all organic dairy all the time out here where we live. So sometimes I eat inorganic cheese, but for the most part, we just skip it. Another thing is I have started drinking golden milk. If you've had it before, it's just like turmeric. My mom used to make me turmeric milk as a little kid. And we did a lot of Ayurvedic eating, so I'm used to this flavor. It's a little bit hard, I guess, for people who have not had it before to kind of get used to it, but it's really nice. It's very anti-inflammatory. I also switched my morning coffee for ceremonial matcha, which I have somewhere. It's a Carrie, which is my mom's name, so I always remember it, Kari brand matcha. And it's been fine. Honestly, I'm really addicted to the flavor of coffee. It's not so much the effect of coffee. I haven't probably felt the effect of coffee since I was a child because I started drinking it so young because I like the flavor. But at this point, I think the problem is that it does deplete your, don't quote me on how this works, but your magnesium, your B vitamins, your vitamin D absorption, and your calcium. They all have an interplay that can be affected by coffee. And also the acidity of coffee can make your gut a little bit wonky, which I hadn't really noticed until now, but thinking of it, I do get heartburn now, which I hadn't had in a long time, and I haven't had it since I stopped coffee. And I was a religious 1 to 2, 3 cups of coffee a day, or like the equivalent of 4 shots of espresso every day, because we own a coffee business. And so we have an espresso machine, a nice La Marzocco here at home that I have a lot of access to. So that's been hard. Another thing for gut support I take is this right here. It's Ion Gut Support. It's fantastic. So it is all natural, soil derived. It comes from humic acid, I believe, and it helps to buffer cells from glyphosate and all kinds of other wonderful things. It's basically a mineral support, so it'll help your gut and it'll help you buffer your body against those xenoestrogens that are inside of things like glyphosate, which is the compound they spray on most crops, especially where we live in southern Idaho, a lot of cornfields. So basically, that's my morning routine right now. Besides all my supplements, I get IV infusions. I try to go as often as possible, or as often as we can afford, between ozone and just Myers cocktails, getting extra vitamin support. And then I'm going to be starting with vitamin D injections, intramuscular injections, because my vitamin D is still extremely low. It's at like 35. I don't remember the range, but 35 is very low. So I'll be doing that as well and see if that can bump up the progesterone. Something else I'm adding here is just a quick protein source. This is obviously an old carton that we've been reusing, but these are eggs from our chickens outside, which is wonderful. So I'm actually gonna set them over here because I feel like I haven't made boiled eggs in a long time. I don't remember if I usually do the water boiling and then put them in, or if I let them boil with the water. Leave a tip in the comments. I kind of was off boiled eggs for a long time after I did keto, and I reacted really badly to keto, and now things like boiled eggs gross me out. But I'm getting back to it. You know what? I think I'm just gonna start them in here. I think they're, no. Oh my gosh, I don't know. Okay, general consensus. Put them in while it's still cold. On it. If you were worried, and this is how you do it, don't worry, I figured it out. I think I'm just gonna make all of these. Yeah. We've been getting a lot of egg production lately, and there's like less and less people to sell eggs to, which is kind of unfortunate. So, all right. Said cover with like 1 inch of water. This looks good. I'm gonna put a lid on there, it said. So, wow. Yeah, you can do so many things on a homestead and just not even know how to boil eggs. That's janky. Don't worry about that. It's just the fastest thing I could grab. All right, so we're working on these salads still. Just gonna go for some nice garbanzos on the sides. Lots of protein, lots of fiber. Legumes are fantastic for low progesterone. A great way to try to boost that up there. I have some left over. Just toss those in a little Tupperware. So then I also have some sprouted pumpkin seeds here. We get everything from our local grocery outlet that's organic, that we don't make at home, and that is fantastic. I think these are maybe salted, I'm not sure. So I'm just gonna do a nice like line of these down the middle. And yeah, these are pretty calorie rich salads, and they're really big, but if that's my best source of nutrients for the day, I'm just gonna go for it. It's not as big as you would think. It's not as calorie dense as it seems, being so large. So we're just gonna go with it. We're gonna eat it, and it's gonna be good, and it's gonna nourish our bodies, and that's what we want. Right now I do have an an olive oil dressing that I did buy at the store that we are gonna use today. We usually make our own dressing, but when we run into one that's organic and that has been properly emulsified with good oils, not scary seed oils, we go ahead and buy it. It makes life easy. That was really simple for me just now. Add a little bit of that there. And what I'm also gonna do is just add a little bit of apple cider vinegar on there with the mother, this Bragg's apple cider vinegar, just to get a little bit of gut health in there. Okay. Then we'll have our hard-boiled egg. Do a little bit of probably pepper on here. A little bit of pepper. Do a little bit more on my husband's. He's a bigger pepper fan than I am. It is still a nightshade, so I try not to do too much in the realm of nightshade. And then for a little charcuterie board here, I'm just gonna add some cute little olives. So got some nice organic green olives that we found at Costco of all places. So that was pretty good. Good on Costco, getting some more organic options for us. We try to buy local. I know a lot of people are really into organic, and I do agree. It has great benefits. Check though with what your certification standards are in your hometown, or at least your state, because I don't know if it's a statewide issue or a nationwide issue, but just because something's organic doesn't necessarily mean it's never been sprayed with pesticides. It generally just means that it has a lower ratio of pesticides, or it's been pushed with water at the end of its life cycle. So it has less pesticides at harvest than it would, but sometimes we just go local. Here's our fun salads. We have our nice little charcuterie board. And now I'm just gonna clean up this kitchen and enjoy the rest of my day. Another casualty of harsh picking. Jesse was really upset. I was really upset too. I was really trying to get some very toxic weeds. We had some deadly nightshade growing. So I had to nip that in the bud, and unfortunately it got stuck and pulled out this little guy. So we're gonna see if maybe he kind of ripens, I guess is not really the word, but see if he does anything for us. But yeah, thanks for spending some time with me, and I will check in with you guys later.